Israel has carried out strikes on Iran's nuclear program, following the State of Israel's preemptive strike against Iran. A missile and drone attack against the State of Israel and its civilian population is expected. Attacks by Israel on Iran are expanding, and so is the crossfire. Israel has conducted a major and highly anticipated series of airstrikes against Iran. On June 24, 2025, Israeli Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Yael Zamir confirmed that ground commando forces had been operating deep inside Iran, creating freedom of operation for the Israeli military. This statement was not news, but rather a confirmation of what many observers had already deduced from leaked footage and eyewitness reports. Mossad agents had infiltrated Iran before Operation Rising Lion on June 13th. Zamir stated that Israel achieved full control over Iranian airspace and every location they chose to operate in, made possible through the integration and deception carried out by air and ground commando forces. This marked the first time Israel openly admitted to operating on the ground inside Iranian territory. Evidence of this activity had already surfaced as early as June 13th, when Western media reports detailed an operation where Mossad and elite IDF forces spent months quietly building a lethal presence inside Iran. They smuggled quadcopter drones, precision-guided munitions, communications gear, and operatives into the country hidden in civilian vehicles, suitcases, shipping containers, and even repackaged as electronics or household goods. By early June, the teams and equipment were in place outside Tehran, Faghabad, and other high-value sites. News outlets even reported on a hidden drone hub operating out of a suburban building rigged with launch capabilities and secure power sources. On June 13th, around 3:30 a.m., as dozens of Israeli jets took off for the airstrike, Mossad commandos were already on the ground, launching drones and vehicle-mounted spike missiles at anti-aircraft and radar targets. The elite teams that had infiltrated deep into Iran systematically dismantled air defenses from within. The operation shifted from covert planning to overt action, with ground teams seamlessly integrating into the air campaign. Even as the drones attacked, Mossad agents streamed live targeting data through encrypted channels to Israeli command centers, jammed radar frequencies, and cut communication lines, leaving Iranian forces blind and deaf. According to an intelligence official, this was a fused intelligence and special operations campaign. Meanwhile, psychological operations unfolded in parallel. Israeli operatives infiltrated Iranian telephone systems, sending covert calls in Persian to high-ranking IRGC officials and generals, giving them 12 hours to evacuate or die. Leaked audio shared by the Washington Post confirmed these messages, demonstrating the precision of Israeli tactics. The goal was not humanitarian, but to sow confusion, destroy equipment, and send a clear message that Israel knew where Iranian leaders worked, lived, and could eliminate them at any time. With Iranian air defenses and communications crippled, approximately 200 Israeli aircraft struck over 100 targets, including nuclear facilities at Natanz and Fordo, missile depots near Kermanshah, and key IRGC command posts in Tehran. The drones that struck first ensured Israeli air supremacy. Strikes guided by Mossad ground units and LW-2085 Nakshan, AWACS planes. By dawn, F-35 Adir, F-16 Safa, and F-15 Ramjets, supported by mid-air refueling from covert Boeing 777 tankers and KC-46 Pegasus aircraft, completed their mission, leaving Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure in ruins. Once the strikes began, the commandos disappeared into the landscape. Though unconfirmed, the operation likely involved elite units like Sarah Makal and Shaytet 13. Known for deep penetration, sabotage, and rapid exfiltration, the covert drone base shut down, equipment was stashed or destroyed, and operatives melted back into civilian traffic. By sunrise, the damage was overwhelming. Iran's radar and nuclear infrastructure suffered catastrophic destruction. The Fordo enrichment facility, long considered impenetrable, was struck at key tunnel entrances, with satellite imagery showing collapsed access points and secondary explosions. At Natanz, cascading failures destroyed centrifuge halls and disabled power sources. The Isfahan complex was left charred, and missile depots in Kermanshah and Tabriz were neutralized. The human toll was equally devastating. Major General Mohammad Bagheri, Iran's chief of staff, was killed in the opening salvo. General Hossein Salami, IRGC commander, died during relocation attempts. Mir Ali Hajizadeh, head of Iran's aerospace force, and other high-ranking officials were also eliminated. The nuclear program's leadership was decapitated, with key scientists and successors killed in follow-up strikes. Iran's retaliatory response was overwhelming in volume but lacked precision. In the days following the Israeli strikes, Iran launched hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones toward Israeli cities and military installations. While most were intercepted by Iron Dome and David's sling systems, some missiles got through, damaging Soroka Medical Center in Be'er-Sheva, striking near the Kiryat military headquarters in Tel Aviv, and hitting civilian areas in Ramat Gan, Holon, Gan, and Tamra. A drone strike near Haifa damaged the Bazan oil refinery and a power station, causing fires and blackouts. In the aftermath, the Iranian regime launched an intense internal crackdown, arresting over 700 suspected collaborators, including border agents, customs officers, and low-level IRGC personnel. Televised confessions aired under duress, and at least 3 executions were confirmed. The regime reshuffled defense and intelligence officials, signaling that betrayal would be met with death. Israel's military doctrine has evolved dramatically from the brute force airstrike of Operation Opera to the digital sabotage of Stuxnet, and now the hybrid warfare of Operation Rising Lion. Rising Lion was a symphony of espionage, cyber operations, precision airstrikes, and psychological warfare. Demonstrating that modern conflicts are fought across multiple domains, the operation's success hinged on timing, integration, and months of preparation, proving that wars are no longer confined to visible front lines. The lesson is chilling. If an enemy can infiltrate undetected, they don't need a standing army, just willpower, technology, and patience. Rising Lion may be a blueprint for future warfare, forcing nations to reconsider how they defend against asymmetric threats. For the West, the challenge is clear. Disperse critical assets, strengthen defenses, and recognize that the next attack may come from within. The world is watching, and the rules of war have changed.